Today we will see class 10 social science, political science, chapter 2 federalism. Overview. In the previous chapter we noted that vertical division of power among different levels of government is one of the major forms of power sharing in modern democracies. In this chapter, we focus on this form of power sharing. It is most commonly referred to as federalism. We begin by describing federalism in general terms. The rest of the chapter tries to understand the theory and practice of federalism in India. A discussion of the federal constitutional provisions is followed by an analysis of the policies and politics that has strengthened federalism in practice. Towards the end of the chapter, we turn to the local government, a new and third tier of Indian federalism. What is federalism? Let us get back to the contrast between Belgium and Sri Lanka that we saw in last chapter. You would recall that one of the key changes made in the constitution of Belgium was to reduce the power of the central government and to give these powers to the regional governments. Regional governments existed in Belgium even earlier. They had their roles and powers, but all these powers were given to these governments and could be withdrawn by the central government. The change that takes place in 1993 was that regional governments were given constitutional powers that were no longer dependent on the central government. Thus, Belgium shifted from the unitary to federal form of government. Sri Lanka continues to be, for all practical purposes, a unitary system where the national government has all the powers. Tamil leaders want Sri Lanka to become a federal system. Federalism is a system of government in which the power is divided between central authority and various constitution units of the country. Usually, a federation has two levels of government. One is the government for the entire country that is usually responsible for a few subjects of common national interest. The other are the governments at the level of province or states that look after much of the day-to-day administrating of the state. Both these levels of government enjoy their powers independent of other. Here I am confused. What do we call the Indian government? Is it union, federal or central? Though only 25 of world's 193 countries have federal political systems, their citizens make up 40% of the world's population. Most of the larger countries of the world are federations. Can you notice an exception to this rule in this map? In this sense, federations are contrast with the unitary government. Under the unitary system, Either there is only one level of government or the sub-units are subordinated to the central government. The central government can pass on orders to the provincial or the local government. But in a federal system, the central government cannot order the state government to do something. State government has powers of its own for which it is not answerable to the central government. Both these governments are separately answerable to the people. Let us look at some of the key features of federalism. 1. There are two or more levels in bracket or tiers of government. 2. Different tiers of government govern the same citizens, but each tier has its own jurisdictions in specific matters of legislation, taxation and administration. 3. Jurisdictions of the respective levels or the tiers of government are specified in the Constitution. So the existence and authority of each tier of government is constitutionally guaranteed. 4. The fundamental provisions of Constitution cannot be unilaterally changed by one level of government. Such changes require the consent of both the levels of government. 5. Courts have the power to interpret the Constitution and the powers of different levels of government. The highest court acts as an umpire if disputes arises between the different levels of government in the exercise of the respective powers. 6. Sources of revenue for each level of government are clearly specified to ensure its financial autonomy. Number 7. The federal system thus has the dual objectives to safeguard and promote the unity of the country while at the same time accommodate regional diversity. Therefore, two aspects are crucial for the institution and practice of federalism. Governments at different levels should agree to some rules of power sharing. They should also trust that each would abide by its part of the agreement. An ideal federal system has both aspects, mutual trust and agreement to live together. The exact balance of power between the central and the state government varies from one federation to another. This balance depends mainly on the historical context in which the federation was formed. There are two kinds of routes through which federations have been formed. The first route involves independent states coming together on their own to form a bigger unit so that by pooling sovereignty and retaining identity, they can increase their security. This type of coming together federations include the USA, Switzerland and Australia. In this first category of federations, all the constitution states usually have an equal power and a strong vice versa the federal government. The second route is where a large country decides to divide its power between the constitution states and the national government. India, Spain and Belgium are the example of this kind of holding together federations. In this second category, the central government tends to be more powerful, vice versa the states. Very often, different constitution units of the federations have the unequal powers. Some units are granted special powers. If federalism works only in big countries, why did Belgium adopt it? Glossary. Jurisdiction. The area over which someone has the legal authority. The area may be defined in terms of geographical boundaries or in terms of certain kinds of subjects. Some Nepalese citizens were discussing the proposals on the adoption of federalism in the new constitution. This is what some of them said. Agraj, I don't like federalism. It would lead to the conservation of seats for different caste groups as in India. Sarita, ours is not a very big country. We don't need federalism. Babulal, I am hopeful that the Terai areas will get more autonomy if they get their own state government. Ram Ganesh, I like federalism because it will mean that the powers that were earlier enjoyed by the king will now be exercised by our elected representatives. If you were practicing in this conversation, what would be your response to each of these? Which of these reflect a wrong understanding of what federalism is? What makes India a federal country? What makes India a federal country? We have earlier seen how small countries like Belgium and Sri Lanka face so many problems of managing diversity. What about a vast country like India with so many languages, religions and regions? What are the power sharing arrangements in our country? Let us begin with the constitution. India has emerged as an independent nation after a painful and bloody partitions. Soon after independence, several princely states became a part of the country. The constitution declared India as a union of states, although it did not use the word federation. The Indian Union is based on the principles of federalism. Let us go back to the 7 features of federalism mentioned above. We can see that all these features apply to the provisions of the Indian Constitution. The Constitution originally provided for a two-tier system of government. The Union government, or what we call the central government, representing the Union of India and the state governments. Later, a third tier of federalism was added in the form of panchayat and municipalities. As in any federation, these different tiers enjoy separate jurisdiction. The Constitution clearly provided a threefold distribution of legislative powers between the union government and the state governments. Thus, it contains 3 lists. Union list includes subjects of national importance such as defense of the country, foreign affairs, banking, communications and currency. They are included in this list because we need a uniform policy on these matters throughout the country. The union government alone can make the laws relating to the subject mentioned in the union list. State list contains subjects of state and local importance such as police, trade, commerce, agriculture and irrigations. The state governments, forest, trade, unions, marriage, adaptations and successions. Both the union as well as the state governments can make laws on the subjects mentioned in this list. If their laws conflict with each other, the law made by the union government will reveal. Thank you. Sharing is caring. Subscribe for more knowledge. Comment your thoughts.